are bringing home the school district has written down that first graders should know X, Y, and Z. Second graders should know X, Y, and Z. Bear with me for a moment. I took a tour of your school. I was really amazed. The first graders, they said the word intermodulation. They read it on the board. The fifth graders, they said good morning to me in 5 different languages. So my question to you is, I see this happening in your school. They know their timetables, 6, 7, and 8. They can say it all the way up. But when I go to the public schools, I may not see this same type of learning taking place. So is it that the public schools are failing our kids? Are we, as educators, failing the children?
Well, it's like a domino effect. If you have a school where teachers don't have good classroom management, children are not learning. Now, it is the administrator's job to oversee that every teacher has a conducive environment in order to teach, and then hold those teachers accountable by making sure that they have your support as the administrator and that they have all the supplies. In many schools, they don't have textbooks. Teachers don't have paper. They have to take money out of their pockets to purchase these items. And the schools, particularly inner city schools, through Title I, bring in millions of dollars. My biggest concern is that I've studied this school district for about 36 years in Philadelphia. I went through Philadelphia's public schools, and I find that the schools make money when children fail. So the goal is to get as much money as you can get.
Now, how is that? How do they make the money when those kids fail?
Through Title I.
Okay.
Title I is a federally funded program, and the goal of Title I is to help children that are failing. However, the children continue to fail. Many are classified as special ed. You get, say, $6,000 for a regular education student. If that child is not learning and can be labeled as special ed, you would get $13,000 plus additional money for services. So the goal is to, in many instances, to dummy the children down. So you find a situation when children are acting out, yes, they're bored, and the teacher's not challenging them. Many of the teachers don't have the ability to manage the classroom. So if you can't manage the classroom, if you're not interesting, you're not going to hold the children's attention. So the monies come in contingent on failure.
So what can we as parents do? Maybe work in conjunction with Parents United for Better Schools. We need to hold the administrators' feet to the fire. We need to hold the teachers' feet to the fire.
Yes.
How do we do that? What do we do?
Parents need to go into the schools more. Many schools are not welcoming of parents. However, parents have a right to go into the school. You should sit in your child's classroom. We have a parent conference on Saturday at our school. The parents will sit in the seats of their children and learn from the teacher. And any questions will be answered. They'll get to review textbooks. So many parents are not welcomed into school. Many parents are working and feel overwhelmed and don't go to the school. And those are the key elements for people to do whatever they want to do with your children. The state will pay the schools money based on attendance. So as long as your children show up, the school will get money for that day. So what's happening in most of the inner city schools, they're doing no more than warehousing the children. So the children come in, they keep the children. If you keep the children up to 12 o'clock, you still get paid for the whole day. So when you see children getting out early, that's a part of it. You know, bring them in, keep them until 12, let them go. Now, I spent 10 years in the Philadelphia Public School as a teacher, and I'm an administrator of one of the largest charters in the state of Pennsylvania, with nearly 1,000 students, the Mathematics, Civics, and Sciences Charter School. And we have 3 schools in one, elementary, middle, and high school, and a 7,000 waiting list.
Wow. And let's talk about that charter school a little bit. Constantly in the paper, great accolades, constantly, you yourself are constantly receiving rewards. What is it that you do? Give me the top 3 that you address, whether it's academically, whether it's socially, behavior. What techniques can we steal from the Mathematics, Civics, and Sciences Charter School and adopt in our public school system to raise the bar there?
One, you have to find a committed educator,
people,
someone
right?
that is
Really,
not just a
everybody.
job or a paycheck,
And that's the
that
for
children are
everybody.
treated as if they were
But
their own children. I
designed
treat
to
the
address
children at my
black
school
kids and their
as if they're my children.
Okay.
And they know that. I give a lot of love, hugs, all day. I'm all over this school. Every child knows me. I'm in and out of every classroom. Because
Dang, I
my
want my
motto
mom
is I
everything,
can't
but,
expect
you know,
from my
mainly
teachers
because
what I don't
there's 5 of us.
inspect.
I had
So I
brothers and
inspect
sisters.
everything, and they see
My
me.
mom worked
They
2
don't know when
jobs,
they're going to see me,
big,
but they know 2
you
to
know
3
what I'm saying?
times every
Yeah,
day
yeah.
I'm going
Her
to show
fault.
up.
Okay.
And I'm looking for classroom management. And I'm
When we get
listening
older,
to
when
see if the
we come,
children are
when we
learning
come
the
in,
methods that I've
we
trained the
start to
teachers to
know the
use.
mother
And
that
so
I
that's
had.
number one.
Okay.
Someone
Let's
that
just put
cares
that.
and loves children
So,
and
but the
committed.
reality is that she's by herself.
What's number two, you
And
think, as
it was
far
like
as
impossible
what can we
for her to ever
steal
come. She was just too tired.
to address the
Again, it was
academics?
probably her own fault while she was
Trained staff.
Okay.
Staff have to be prepared
mom
and
got her
trained.
way. They didn't-
Even though
not
teachers
compromise.
must spend 4 years in college and take a state
And that's the
certification,
sad
many
truth
still
we
don't know
talk
how to
about.
teach.
Okay.
So you have to train them and make them aware of what the expectations are in the environment that they're in.
Okay.
And support them and provide all the supplies that they need, books, markers, paper.
We have to touch on something which is unfortunately a sad spot for the Philadelphia School District, and that is the dropout rate. Some reports have surfaced, I think, since from 2000 to 2005. There's
Hey, CJ, some schools don't have no security. Of course, the mass shootings got security there, but there's no student, fighting issue. Black culture, brother. I've been to clubs, right? I'm trying to tell you, you guys probably also. I've been to clubs where when it's a black night, security all over the fucking place. I went on a white night, no security, no checking for guns, none of that shit, my boy. Just ID on a so-called white night. When it wasn't like a black night, ain't no fucking cop around. You gotta call the cops. It's nigga shit, bro. Nigga shit. When niggas get together, we are violent towards each other. Where homicides and all type of attacks and violence and vandalism occurs, robbery, that type of shit is in the, is at play. But that same club, my boy, the same club, it was called Packy's. They're out here in Jersey, Central Jersey. Packy's on Thursday night, my boy. Black people, fucking nigga, the National Guard is in that attendance. You dig? A regular Friday or Saturday night, more of a white crowd, mixed crowd. Ain't no cop around. I know niggas ain't shit. So niggas ain't gonna lie to me, this blackology bullshit. I know niggas ain't shit. We got a lot to recover from. Okay, we got a lot of healing. And I'm not gonna be in denial, nigga. I'm gonna be straight up real with us. We have a lot of healing. We hate each other. And it might be white supremacy at the realms, the hymns of whatever the fuck they say, at the bottom of it. But the reality is right now, at the tippity top, the bottom of it might be white supremacy. But the tippity top is nigga shit, right? So until we get to the bottom, we gotta first deal with the top. Niggas are the reason why you need security in these schools. You need security in goddamn elementary school, not from mass shooters, from piece of shit little fucking kids and fucked up households. Fucked up households. Ghetto ass ratchet dads and ghetto ass ratchet fucking hood rat moms is why we need security in schools, in clubs. That's why. I'm gonna speak on it. I'm not sugarcoating shit. Fuck that shit. Niggas are a piece of shit. You dig? And in order for us to get right, we got to confront our cons and shit. Right? So I'm brave enough to speak on the cons. Fuck the pros right now. Because the pros ain't outweighing the cons right now as a collective.
There's been maybe 30,000, and I may be off a thousand or two, 30,000 kids who have dropped out of high school. Our city rate is around maybe 25%, give or take a percent. And in certain neighborhoods, that percentage of dropouts is higher than the actual rate of 25%, which is the overall for the city. That dropout rate, how do you think we can address that issue?
Well, I call it push out. The children are pushed out. And many times if you travel through the city and you go to a high school, you'll probably see more children hanging outside or in the hallways. Now, when the hallways are more interesting than the classrooms, then we need to start replacing people in the classrooms.
The material or the people?
The people.
Because let's say I may not be interested in college, but yet still.
Now, I agree with her. The worst teachers are in black neighborhoods because Why? Why you think the worst teachers, like rookie teachers with no experience, or people been fired and rehired, why are they in black schools? It's because they look at black people as ain't shit, right? Subhumans, right? Because of some shit that we're responsible for. Look at Chicago, look at Detroit, look at Philadelphia. Like some inhumane shit we do to ourselves. Like, how can people look past that and see us as, no, these guys are just, regular people? No, they look at us like fucking cannibals. The same way we looked at white folks when they do their dumb shit with mass shootings and eating cannibalism, right? We don't see them as regular human beings. We look at them as special motherfucking human beings. Well, they see us the same way, right? So that same rule applies all over the board. Okay. So we get the worst teachers, the inexperienced teachers in our cities, right? In our schools, because we don't own shit. We don't own shit. Okay. We don't own shit. So the tax dollars aren't there. So, which is why we should be more pro tutors.
Still, I have to take a Calculus 2 class, and I have no interest in Calculus 2. I have no interest in college. The teacher who is teaching the Calculus 2, or is that the material that I'm not interested in?
Well, it's the teacher's job to make children interested in learning, to stimulate them, to bring the subject to the classroom in such a way that the children can master those concepts and feel good about mastery. Now, for those children that don't want to take calculus, well, then there should be some vocational training for those children, because everyone doesn't go to college, but they should have a skill. So, college, you're learning a skill. Electricians, plumbers, they make as much as teachers and administrators.
Let me ask you this question about home economics. There was another article out where they're thinking of bringing that, introducing that back into the school system, because again, not everyone goes to college, but we should all have the basic life skills of how to write a checkbook, how to balance that checkbook, how to do certain things in the kitchen. Are you in favor of bringing back home economics for that reason?
Sure, I had home economics when I went to school, and I was given that even though I had the ability to go to college.
Okay.
I'm for that, but those were things that our parents taught us.
Okay.
That the schools are now doing that. But you may have a student that's very good and might become a famous chef.
Teachers should not get paid more. I'll tell you why. Unless what she's saying. Okay, let me back up what she's saying. If your students' grades, right, and behavior was reflective on the teacher's portfolio, then I would agree. Teachers should get paid more, right? So if a teacher has a class of, let's say, 15 to 20 kids, 15 plus, fuck 20, 15 plus kids, right? And the average grade is a B plus, that teacher should make more than a fucking piece of shit teacher who has a class and the average grade is a D plus, right? So D as in dog. So don't mix up what I'm saying. I know this sounds together. B and D, it sounds, when you're talking on the phone and computer, it sounds the same. B as in boy. Okay, a teacher that has a grade class of B as in boy plus compared to a teacher who has a grade class of D as in dog plus, the teacher with B as in boy plus should make more than that fucking goofy teacher who has a class grade of D plus, D as in dog plus. Okay, so yes, they need to start paying teachers like they do NBA players. Like when you make money based off your results. Yes, at that point you'll see students best in the world in these classes. Teachers would be great, but overall socialist pay teachers, fuck no. That's socialism. Pay teacher no matter what her result is from kids. No, I don't go with that socialist shit. Capitalism. The teacher who has a class performing at an A to B should get paid more than teachers that got classes from C, D to F. Okay? That's where I'm at with it. I would go with that.
Vocational training for those children, because everyone doesn't go to college, but they should have a skill. So, college, you're learning a skill. Electricians, plumbers, they make as much as teachers and administrators.
Let me ask you this question about home economics. There was another article out where they're thinking of bringing that, introducing that back into the school system, because again, not everyone goes to college, but we should all have the basic life skills of how to write a checkbook, how to balance that checkbook, how to do certain things in the kitchen. Are you in favor of bringing back home economics for that reason?
Sure, I had home economics when I went to school, and I was given that even though I had the ability to go to college.
Okay.
I'm for that, but those were things that our parents taught us.
Okay.
that the schools are now doing that. But you may have a student that's very good and might become a famous chef. So that could introduce them to that. But yeah, anything that's going to help children learn, if that's what they want, I would be certainly in support of that.
Earlier, we touched on the violence in the school, and you shared how PUBS, Parents United for Better Schools, was originally founded. Violence prevalent throughout the school systems. Your school, there's not too much violence going on.
No.
How do you address violence at your school?
Well, we teach children how to handle conflict and behavior management, anger management. So once they're taught that, we don't have a lot of fights. We go days without fighting, months without fighting, weeks with. We don't have a lot of fights there because it's not allowed. There's a policy, and everyone's very clear on that, that there's no physical contact within the school.
Okay.
So the children understand, and we only suspend the first hitter. We don't suspend everyone because someone hit and someone felt that they had to defend themselves. So our children will tell. They're taught to tell, and it's reinforced through teachers, through myself. And we only suspend the one that hits, so nobody wants to hit.
I see. Let's talk about PUBS a little bit, Parents United for Better Schools. Is it the home office is in
Yes,
Germantown?
Germantown, yes.
And where are the satellite or the branch offices?
We have different chapters, like we will be starting one here in Chester.
Okay.
To help those parents with the problems that they're having in the Chester Upland School District.
Name some of the issues and how did you get involved with that?
I was contacted from a parent that has 5 children, 3 in the particular school, the high school, that in fact they had to let the children go early or shut the school down several days because of the violence in the school. And my concern is that that shouldn't happen, that good children should not suffer because of a few children that want to fight.
Okay.
They should be removed immediately.
So once they are removed, I guess, from the classroom, or are they removed from the entire school?
Removed from the school if needed. If there is an issue, then those children should be removed,
And
in
then what
my
happens?
estimation.
What happens to that child after they are removed?
There should be a school that handles children that have behavior problems,
Okay.
so that there is staff there, professional staff that can deal with the problem, not people that are in business to make money.
Okay.
And I'm looking for the paper because I want to let people know that there is going to be a meeting so that the parents who have children in the affected school can come. Because it's the Chester Upland School District, we will be meeting on Wednesday, November the 1st, and it'll be held at 7 p.m. at the Chester YWCA, which is located at the corner of 7th and Sproul Streets in Chester, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So that's Wednesday, November the 1st at 7 at the Chester YWCA.
And you'll be a keynote speaker there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, my goal is to organize parents. I have looked at Chester Upland School District for many years, and I felt very bad because that school district could be a much better school district, and it will take the parents to come forward because, of course, you have the school district's administration, and I'm not knocking them, but
Hold on, let me speak to CJ, because CJ, if you tune in, a couple times a week, you'll know that I'm pro military, I'm pro boot camp, I'm pro all that shit. These little nigglets, right? I'm going back to the word niglet from Tales from the Hood, right? These little nigglets, they need discipline because they ain't getting it at home. And they damn sure ain't getting no single parenthood. I don't give a damn if it's the dad or the mom. If it ain't a nuclear family, odds are discipline, they're lacking. All right. And respect, discipline, respect, they're lacking. Right. So, and morality, discipline, respect, and morality. These little niggas are lacking in a single parent home. Give a damn if it's a dad or a mom raising them. They're going to lack that. So I'm 100% pro boot camp or some type of military experience for these little guys. And I'm telling you, especially even the women, especially the little girls, especially when you see signs 13 years old that they're rebellious. 13, 14, your little girl, your little niglet boy is rebellious. Start preparing that fool for military, right? The armed forces or some boot camp shit. Because it's either that or the gang life. You pick, piece of shit parents who don't pick, and by default, they go to the gangs. Tired of these fucking piece of shit parents, man. These negligent parents. We got to be active. Once you see your child is not listening and bucking the system, bucking your home system, right? You got to decide then and then, right then and there. Boot camp, military, or street military. So now if he dies in the military, he might die. Well, nigga, he might die in the fucking streets. Okay, but the death is what matters. It's how you die. You die in the streets, that's a dishonorable death. Nobody respects that fool or his life or your kid. He died serving the country, that's an honorable death. He's remembered forever. And people will salute him for dedicating his life for the, you know, all Americans, you dig? Rather than dedicating his life for a fucking street or a gang, a piece of shit, powerless gang. Okay? So that's the options. So I'm pro discipline. I'm pro respect. I'm pro morals. You dig? However you got to get it, make sure it's there. And that's where it is. You dig? So anyway, let me shut up and play the rest of the video.
Something's wrong. Then you have the children. They're caught in the middle. Then you have the parents that want to do, but they don't know what to do.
Okay.
So, you know, thank God that I can emerge as a leader to give some direction to those parents so that their children are getting the benefit of an education. They have a right to an education. And it is certainly compulsory education that every child is in school. That's a state law.
Okay. That's a very good program. Congratulations. And that's one of the ways that PUBS is branching out.
Yes.
And,
we have chapters in New Jersey, Delaware, and then now Chester.
Okay. All right. And approximately how many parents are actually involved? And how do you get those parents? They're all volunteers.
Yes. We have, our office staff is paid, but we have 20,000 members throughout Philadelphia.
It's going to be done in like a few minutes.
And those members over the 21 years have joined the organization.
Okay.
We were instrumental in getting marking guidelines implemented in the public
you know,
school.
okay.
And that was after, as a parent, I had to step up. I saw when my son attended schools under the voluntary desegregation program, and he was treated different because of his race. Even though all of his test scores were A's and B's, his report card would always reflect C's. And I'm teaching in the same district, and his teacher is unaware that I'm a teacher because I didn't make it known. And I filed the first discrimination complaint in the history of Philadelphia on grading practices. And the public school was forced to implement marking guidelines, and teachers had to hold on to their grade books for at least 2 years.
Okay. Let's just touch on that a little bit further, the discrimination in the schools. 2006 we are, integration. The schools, are they really receiving the same education quality?
And we're not really integrated. You have about 200,000 students in the public school with about 75% African American, maybe even higher now.
In Philadelphia? In
Philadelphia schools. So you cannot racially balance that number. I think the numbers are higher because the last statistics I looked at, I think they're probably African American now.
Okay.
And what's happening there is that you have a school system that's all African American. You have inner city schools.
6 minutes, that's all. 6
the
more
suburban
minutes.
schools are better because the parents pay property taxes. And when you're in the urban areas, you're most likely to be a renter. So your taxes are not going into the schools. And then people tend to use that not to educate. The other problem I find is that when we don't educate children, they grow up to become adults. And if you can't read, write, or do mathematics, we're no longer hunters and gatherers. We need skills.
Correct.
So we go out, we steal, we sell drugs.
In order to
survive.
But
we need our basic needs, food, shelter, and clothing. Now you go to jail. So that means you have an increase in the prison population, and you're building more prisons, you're hiring more police officers, more courts, more judges, more lawyers. So everyone is gainfully employed on the lack of education of African American people.
Are you saying conspiracy?
It is, I would say. I mean, it's a design.
Right.
The other part of that is welfare. If you're a female, even though females are now increasing in terms of prisons, you can have babies, go on welfare, get WIC, get the welfare, whatever the program, Medicare, whatever medical program is offering, then the medical system gets in it.
Okay.
They give a lot of prescription drugs to a lot of African American people have high blood or diabetes or both. Dialysis machines, most blacks are on dialysis.
And I agree with you, but to a certain extent, we can't blame all of these devices as the downfall
It's a design. It is. If I wasn't strong
It's
enough.
part of the problem. It's not the complete.
But you know, I looked at was on public education, and I had the DVD.
Okay.
Where a group of children were identified as blue eyes and brown eyes, and these were white kids in the classroom. The blue eyes felt superior. The brown eyes felt that they were discriminated against. They were treated differently. They didn't have the privileges.
Okay.
And the test scores dropped. When the teacher reversed it and said that the brown eyes were the blue eyes, their scores increased. Now the blue eyes were able to have extra time for recess. They could drink.
All right, so Stupid, I'm gonna stop it right there. I'm gonna play it later, so we can talk in between, and then I'll play other parts of the video. But Stupid, go ahead, brother. You got something to say?
No, man. Continue playing it, man. Continue.
Okay.
Continue playing it.
Okay, we got 3 and some change.
Drink out of the water fountain, but the brown eyes had to use cups.
Okay.
They were not allowed to play with the blue eyes. The blue eyes were always encouraged. They were great. They were smart.
Okay.
And the children start acting out their role.
That's very interesting.
So as an African American, a brown person,
Yeah.
if you're not white, you're definitely, so you have to look at all of it. Some people are strong enough to come back after all that pressure, but by design, why is it that more African American men are in prison? And then after coming out of prison, they can't find jobs. And they got into prison because the school district didn't educate them. And we're doing the same thing. If we added the dollars and cents that are being made on African Americans people's miseducation, it would make slavery look like a small business.
Okay, okay. Let's talk about your story because it's very inspirational and speaking to overcoming some of these, what you did with your son.
Yes.
And then even your story of how you grew up, where you grew up, you went to college and so forth, very inspirational. What's your background? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in North Philadelphia, very poor, 7 children, walking 25 blocks to school every day, many times with holes in my shoes, getting to school, not having lunch. So I'm very sensitive to the needs of children, very sensitive to children's clothing, and very sensitive to giving love to those children. However, I felt that I had to go through that to be the person that I am.
To be the person that you are.
So I went through all that, and I now understand what it's like not to have.
Correct, and then you're giving that hope and so forth back to the kids
Yes.
that are in our communities because you came from those kids, you were once
Yes,
those kids.
Definitely. And even when I looked at the public school, I had to file another discrimination complaint because 30,000 minority high school children didn't have hot lunches. So when I went out to tour the schools in the Northeast, the white students had hot lunches in a 45-minute lunch period, and African American children would just let go early, let them out of school early. And you know that when you don't eat, your blood sugars drop, your ability to focus and remember facts
Drops.
Sure.
So
when I talk about a design, know that I've studied it 36 years. It's a definite design. And we have to overcome that. African American people, and I'm not prejudiced at all because I have Caucasian, Hispanics, Koreans in my school. African American people have to start setting up our own schools and educating our own children. We have to stop sending our children to other people. I think we're the only race of people that do that.
Okay, I'm gonna continue playing. There's only 1 minute left, right? 1 minute and 47 seconds to be exact. So 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes. Look what she said, right? So why didn't Dr. Umar Johnson, he's a clown, okay? I don't know how you guys can respect that guy. He's a clown. So how come they're both in Philly and they both believe the same shit? She said we need to have schools designed for Black folks for the reasons she established in the last 18 minutes. Umar Johnson from Philly, you think he never heard of her? He's a fucking liar, man.
We have to do it and let people understand that they have to respect us. We're the first people. When you go back into history, come on.
Yeah.
We were the first man. They had found nothing. Leakey and his wife found nothing, no skull.
Right, that's a little black
So
allergy.
African American people were the first people. So the first findings of man was in Africa. So we've been doing it longer. We do it better. And I think people know that. And that's why we are suppressed, and we continue to be suppressed.
As a people. All good points coming from our guest today, Veronica Joyner. She is the Chief Administrative Officer of the Mathematics, Civics, and Sciences Charter School. She's also the founder and president of Parents United for Better Schools. You've been seeing the information, her website, throughout the program, so please jump on the website to get any further information about PUBS. Thank you for watching our program today. Once again, this is Mike Pleasant reminding you to be the change that you want to see in your world. Thanks for watching.
Unbiased? Unbiased got cut off? Well, am I still on? Or just give me a minute. I need to answer the phone.
I can hear you. I got a baby crying in the background, so I'm trying to shut him. All right. Oh my God. This guy is wilding tonight. Okay. Anybody with young kids or ever had young kids, you know, that's complete. He just tired.
No,
Give him a bottle.
If somebody have a problem with the baby, they need to come off the line. It's a baby. If somebody have a problem with baby crying, they need to go somewhere else. Babies are going to cry.
Right. Like niggas are bachelors at that point. Right. Babies cry. And I fed them, you know, and when they cry, listen, for those who don't have kids, right? The baby cry 3 main reasons: hunger, diaper change, tired. That's it. That's the main 3 things.
Yeah, they're uncomfortable.
Right.
They feel distressed. Babies are babies. But back to this lady. I heard her name, but I didn't remember. She said a lot of things that make sense.
Right.
But remember, in our community, it takes a village to raise a child. Right? And our village kind of shit, you know. We don't want to accept it or not. Our village is kind of shit, you know. Right? Because what children aspire to know is not greatness. Who are the role models? Little Dirk, little this, little that, little Ray, little so and so. When you listen to the music, it's all garbage. It's computer generated rhythms.
Yeah.
It don't require as much talent. It's not like back in the day where you had a Ray Charles who was a who played the piano and who was accomplished. It's not like that anymore. What we're facing now is it is what it is. You mentioned boot camp earlier, and I don't really 100% agree with you.
Okay, explain.
I don't 100% agree with you.
All right.
Because
Here.
every child has the capacity to learn. I agree with that. But it's not every child is going to put in an environment and still succeed. A child needs to want to succeed. Right? That has to be part of it. Success has to be something that is spoken about in the household. Right? It has to be. And not every household has that capacity. And because of that, it's like you and I will come off like assholes. But we to put these children in boot camp. But you're going to put a child in boot camp when they're away, they're still worrying about their brother and sister who they left at home wasn't eating. Right? Is that even nutrition in the household, even the nutrition in the household is not conducive with learning. You know that, right?
Wait, say the last thing. Say it again.
Even the kind of nutrition that is in the household, it is not conducive to learning.
Okay, you said a nuisance?
No, nutrition. The food that they get.
Okay, nutrition, right, I got you.
Yeah, it's not conducive to learning.
Okay, I mean, but when it comes to diet, right, that's very, very touchy. I mean, for some people, because they feel like stay out of the kitchen. You know,
no vegetable not in the diet.
You're right. It's stupid. I got you. But when it comes to like, there's some things that I'm not saying myself. I agree with you because I'm somebody. If you look at me, I'm very lean. I'm very athletic. At 44, I'm still balling with people half my age and younger.
Mm.
So I agree with, exercise and eating right. But I'm telling you, most black people don't agree with that shit. So they feel like their kitchen is their business. It's personal. It got nothing to do with you and I.
I'm not overweight, and I got overweight later in life. But when I see a fat little black kid, when you see a fat little black kid, a fat little black boy, 7 or 8 years old, his parents is doing him an injustice. It's an injustice to that child.
I agree. But
no child should be fat.
At all. Zero. Not even close. Because you got overweight, and obese is worse than overweight. I agree.
Right. No child should be fat. And how much time we go to the mall, I see that fat little porker. I said, what is his parents doing?
Yep.
What kind of injustice is this?
It kills me. It kills me to see a fat black kid. I hate seeing that shit, man.
Right? So the same thing goes for no child should not be able to read.
I agree.
Unless a child is
it's still
mentally retarded.
It's still. But what if? Okay, I'm gonna push back on you with the reading part. What if the kid got a disability where it affects his reading skills, his reading time?
No, I meant that. Unless the child has a mental problem.
Right. But mental. But stupides. Humans, period. Right. Humans. Some are born normal, but shit, damn near half is born with a disability. And a lot of it is going to be some reading comprehension issues.
Half of children is born. That's not true.
No. I'm not giving you the stats. I don't know. I can Google it, but what I'm saying is this: there's a lot of kids, especially in the black community. There's a lot of, because like you just said parents dieting. Okay, when parents are pregnant and they're eating cheese doodles, drinking ginger ale, and drinking liquor, smoking weed, that kid is going to be malnutritious. Okay, so he's going to have some difficulties learning. He's not a normal ed kid. He's a special ed kid. Okay, and this is why, in my belief, okay, it's not science. I didn't Google this. In my belief, premature babies, if you Google it, I believe that it comes from the black community more than anybody else. Preemies. Okay, and I'm telling you, I believe it's because malnutritious for the mom, eating wherever the fuck she want to eat, and the kid can't survive no more. Right, he got to get out 6-7 months. Right, that's my personal belief. I have not Googled that, but malnutritious, I believe, is the reason why a lot of black kids are born fucked up.
But this is no. But I won't go with that because, all right. No, whether I want to believe it or not, in 2020, black people on a whole has been richer than at any time in the past. Black people have more resources now than at any time ever in the history of the United States. Would you disagree with me on that?
Wait, say it one more time. I was typing. Say it one more time.
Black people now have access to more resources.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
Any time in the history of the United States.
Yeah, of course. Education, all that shit. Yeah.
They have more money now.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
But yet still, we didn't have a level of retardation in the 60s as we have now. Black children who had access to education did very well. Did extremely well in the 60s. Right?
Wait. It's still stupid. So before you go there, I need to know if you agree or disagree with me. When I say that a lot of black parents, right, mothers, let's say mothers, let's be blunt. Mothers, okay, are eating the worst shit possible, and their kids are malnutritious a lot of times, because I did say premature babies, and a lot of black parents, a lot of black mothers did not have the kid from the womb. They had the kid from the belly, because they're so fucking toxic, in my opinion. They're so toxic, the baby had to get out fast, 6, 7, 8 months.
I cannot say I agree with you. I will not
Oh,
say I
okay.
agree.
So
I will
Stupies,
not say
I
disagree
need you.
with you, but
Got you.
I
So
cannot.
Stupies, I need you to explain why black mothers have so many premature births. Can you explain that?
Part of it is the nutrition, part of it is stress related.
Wait, is what you said? Stress?
Stress
Wait,
and
wait, wait, wait,
nutrition.
wait, 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 wait. Hold on. Stupies, brother, I'm going to get you like you got me. The last way you got me. I'm gonna get you that way, brother. The average black person, forget about a woman. The average black person is not health because you spoke on diet, right?
Yeah.
Eating the correct shit. The average black person knows nothing about eating the best shit. We eat the worst shit. We eat cereal. Sugar is our diet altogether. A black women, period, not just black women, period, in America are taught when you're pregnant, eat whatever the fuck you want. Okay, so Stupies, come on with the black allergy. You gotta admit, and look, black people are.
Listen, I believe it. I know that. I know some nutrition play a part in it. The most important, the nutrition that the mother is doing.
Right.
Important part
So Stupies, when it comes to education, doing right, black folks are on the bottom on every stat of doing right, and we're at the top of every stat of doing wrong. Okay, so I'm gonna be blunt. I'm not sugarcoating. I'm straight raw. This is that raw sugar.
I'm asking, and sugar is addictive enough. I'm asking you this question. What brought on this topic tonight? What did you observe?
So no. What happened was, Stupies, I got so many Moors, right? I got so many Moors videos. But I just felt like you guys are, you know what I mean? Like you need a break from the Moor shit. So I said, all right. So I said, all right, let me go to a video that I uploaded 8 years ago. Because this is the video you've seen, that's my video 8 years ago. Okay. I got videos with 1 million views that I never played before, ever on this conscious community shit. Right now, by the way, I'm not part of any this is a disclaimer. I'm not part of any conscious community shit. I'm outside of it. I heard Shaka, most of the other people say the same shit. I'm not part of, and Wujabu, I'm not part of the conscious community at all. Zero. Okay? I'm outside of, I'm a guest. When Zanetta calls me or whoever calls me, I'm a guest. Coming from outside, inside. I'm not part of the conscious community at all. Zero. I can't relate to these niggas at all. I don't want to talk to them in real life. I don't want to meet them. I don't want to do shit with them. So I'm not a conscious community guy. So from that perspective, huh?
You don't belong to any squad. I'm on Raw squad.
I'm not a part of nothing, but I'm not going to disrespect an honorary, invitation. So got pseudo killers, right? And I'm an honorary member, no problem. But in my whole life, Stupies, I never was somebody who can be down with something I did not create. Okay, so that's why I can never be a blood, crip, or on the street gang. If I didn't create it, I can never be loyal to you. I will snitch on your stupid ass. Okay, I gotta create it to be loyal. So if I didn't create it, I'm not loyal. So my channel, we're all sovereigns in every sense of the word. We're all sovereigns because there's no obligation here, right? Stupi disagree unbiased. He had a right to say so. Haskell, Amber, you did y'all. Stupi's, Haskell, Amber, the Watcher, and I'm gonna say Haskell were like the original, from over here, the FCC.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no obligation. You're not down with shit over here. Okay, there's nothing to be down with. There's freedom of speech over here. Okay, now there's consequences. If you're wrong, we're gonna get on your ass. But there's nothing to join over here. You're just a regular black person. There's no FBA, there's no Jamaican, there's no Haitian, there's no Nigerian, none of that shit. No Ghana, Guyanese person. We're all black over here. That's why I don't talk about none of that shit over here.
I understand where you're coming from. I understand.
We're all black.
But listen. I'm going to tell you something. I don't
black.
know.
Mika, the Watcher.
All right. This is what even in Jamaica, black children in poor communities are not doing well. You have the exception, not all. Not saying, and not saying that every single black people in poor community not doing well. But the proportion of who is doing well in school compared to the proportion of who not doing well, it is highly, it is too wide. The gap is too wide.
Yeah.
Right? And is it poverty that caused it? No, because poor people back in the past was doing well. Is it that what we start yearning for? Because we start looking for, okay, I want to be a millionaire. I want to be a rapper. I want to drive a big car. I want to do this. Is it that our children are not seeing the big picture? What is happening? What is happening? Why is it that poor people children not doing well? Or is it that the parents not contributing
Yeah,
to the
so
success of the child?
so as you know, Supees, I believe that question rhetorical because I believe you're educated and you're smart.
Yeah.
You know, I believe that's a rhetorical question for like just in the open.
Yeah.
So I believe you know the answer to that. So you continue.
Yeah. And part of it is that it was a misdirection of the parents. Is that what became important to them? The success of the family was no longer important.
So Supees, so let me just say this for the blackologists. Blackologists. I'm aware that white supremacy is the root of it all. I'm aware of that. But the root produces a tree or a plant, and the plant has branches and leaves, right? So the root, you got to deal with that last. It's what it produced. You got to deal with right now. All right, Supees, go ahead.
Yeah. It's true. Part of it is white supremacy.
Yeah.
But another part is that we as a people can't see ourselves bigger than who we are.
Yeah.
Can't see ourselves bigger than who we are. So as a result of that, you cannot be one place all your life. You cannot be one place all your life. And that is it. Many people didn't come out of the community to see how other people live. So they feel that this is how it is.
So, Supees, let me just say this real fast. Okay, so we're having a nice discussion, and you know they say liquor bring out the truth. So I'm sipping on my little drink, thanks to the Watcher. The Watcher supported the Cash App, and look, and I'm not saying nobody got to do it, right? This is just a personal decision, right? Again, we're not cult leaders, we're not cult members. You don't have to do shit over here, and you're not held. You dig? Like we don't look at you differently, right? But I'm just saying, like the Watcher sent some money, and I felt like, all right, let me sip on something on the Watcher. And we're live right now as a result. So this live is dedicated to the Watcher. But Stupees, everything you're saying is accurate. Okay. So Black people, we are Stupees, we are caught in the middle of a war, a civil war, an ongoing civil war. It's the Confederates versus the North, still now today. You dig? And like we have to know that. And when I post certain videos about government, you guys should really get out your pencil and paper or recorders and try to remember what I play about government. Okay? How government had no role, no like authority, and then it got authority. You guys need to know this. You'll know Republican talking points, you'll know Democratic talking points from here on out. Like it'll be no more confusion about you. Because Stupees, a lot of Black folks are Democrat, and I don't think they know why, Stupees. I believe if they heard both talking points, I believe most male, not women, I believe most Black males will be Republican over Democrat today if they heard the talking points. of
No.
both sides.
Yeah, but no, black people in the whole are conservative in nature. You know? We're
Right.
anti-abortion.
Right,
We're not really
Republican. Got it.
right. You know, we think we're not really into gay rights and gay marriages,
Republican.
right?
And
But
also, two
the
piece.
thing about it is that,
Also, we believe that the government has too much, influence on
right.
our day-to-day activities. Republican.
No, but what was important to we in the 60s is civil rights. And the Democratic Party was back in the civil rights more than the Republican Party.
Right.
So we put
Right.
aside our conservative
And that's the Stu Peas.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying, Stu Peas, had we been politically astute, we can point out to Republicans, like, y'all are hypocritical. Because if y'all pro-Constitution, then how are you not riding with us during the Civil Rights March? See what I'm saying, Stu Peas? Like, when we are politically aware, we can hold people accountable. Like, you guys are phonies. Because you guys claim to be constitutionalists, but you're not riding with black people, Republican, trash people. You're not riding with black people during the Civil Rights era. Y'all should be the main motherfuckers with us.
No, because that is why we realize that Republicans are racist.
Yeah, but Stu Peas, I don't even believe black people knew the Republican argument.
No,
Arguments, plural arguments. But Stu Peas, I believe that Stu Peas, you gotta hold somebody accountable in order to justify, in order to charge them, right? You gotta hold them accountable to charge them. If you don't hold white racists, like I'm talking about the white poor cello trash racists, those welfare recipients, I'm talking about those people, right? Those methamphetamine white folks. If you don't hold them accountable, they get a pass. Okay.
No, but we must remember, white people was the first one who went to white people. I said to the poor white people, said, poor white person, you know why you're poor? Do you understand why you're poor?
Right. But Stu Peas, that is a political argument. That's the Confederates. The Confederates went to those poor white folks and got their ear and pitched their bullshit to them, right? You're correct. That's history. I'm saying those same white folks share similarities with black folks.
Right.
All we gotta do is reach out to that same ear and say, hey, look at this. But we don't do it because we're blue no matter what. And we need to be like the Black Panthers were incredibly intelligent. Because they realized that it's bullshit on both sides, so they got their own party. You dig? Because they knew that they knew the political bullshit on both sides, so they had the Black Panther Party, right? So I'm saying when a black person piece take a step backwards and listen to both arguments, they can realize that I can now be the chess player that they were. I can move white trailer trash pawns, and I can move blue Democrat pawns.
No, but you have to understand something, that white people don't want to hear the story.
Wait, now when you say
white people don't want to hear the story.
Now it's two pieces. In order to make that charge, you gotta first find out. So going back to Tariq Nasheed, that piece of shit nigga, right? Now he wants to do a march on Washington, but he don't want to speak to any members in Congress, right? So therefore, he's giving Congress a pass. So what Uncle Luke said was, why not meet with Congress? Like, hold them accountable. So Stu Peas, I'm saying to justifiably hold somebody to something, you gotta first attempt. You gotta first make the attempt. You can't just automatically assume they ain't with it. Listen, everything is documented, my brother. You gotta make the attempt. So now when you make the attempt and those same racial trailer trash piece of shit white folks don't get on board, now you can hold that against them and say, oh, we came to you, you didn't listen. And you claim that these same issues affect you.
But Tariq Nasheed program is not about anything that you think is about.
No. Don't mix up what I'm saying though. I'm saying I'm agreeing with you. Tariq Nasheed is a fraud, which is FBA bullshit. Because if he was serious, he would do what Uncle Luke said. He would meet with Congress and also what the sister said with Uncle Luke. He would have his own analytics team, right? That's finding out what the people want and don't want. Okay, so we know you and I know he's a fraud, right? Other people might not know, but you and I know he's a fraud. Okay, so I'm saying going further, Uncle Luke pointed that shit out, that he's a fraud. I played it already, he's a fraud. I'm saying going further, Stu Pease, what unbiased sports can't do, I cannot rule out Stu Pease unless I ask him for help. I gotta ask Stu Pease for help first before I rule him out. If I rule him out without asking him, Stu Pease can always say, Stu Pease, I'm biased, never call me, never email me, never nothing, tag me, nothing. You dig? So I gotta first come to you. Black folks gotta first come to these trailer trash piece of shit white folks first. Okay? Then we can chalk it up and say, hey, man, we've been there, done that, it's over. But we never done it because we color bang. They're red, we're blue, and that's it.
No, but how is it that we're going to come to them? Well, it's a trailer park where we need to go to. Because even in our community, we have black people like Yvette Cornell. Yvette, what's her name? Yvette
Cornell.
Yeah, Yvette Cornell.
Yeah.
Who is telling a story that is like, it tastes like stale milk.
Okay.
Stale milk story. And people buying it. People buying the story.
The Democrats, right? The Democrats, right?
No, Democrats are buying it.
Yeah, because it ain't Republicans. It's not Republicans. It's Democrats.
No, it's black people buying it. She's a Republican.
Okay, right.
Republican.
No, but the people buying her argument, Democrats.
No, black people who buy arguments are Democrats. Probably.
Yeah, the Democrats are buying her shit. It ain't the Republicans. She's appealing to black people, and we're Democrats, 90%.
Yeah.
Right. So she's not appealing to no Republican. And I'm saying that's a mistake. Republicans got more in common with us than what I'm saying is, and Stu Pease, you can challenge me right now. I can go talking point for talking point. Republicans have more in common with, I'm talking about poor trailer trash Republicans. They got more in common with poor black folks than any Democrat.
That is true. That is true. That is true. Right, but
so what I'm saying on that note is let's hold, because bro, when I watch these Republican videos, sovereign citizens and auditors and all this shit, I'm like, wait a minute, they believe like us. So why they not with the Arbery march? Why they not with Sean Bell? Why they not with none of our marches? And that's because we don't hold them. We don't hold them because black folks are just blue. We're just cripping. We're just cripping no matter what. I'm saying, like, let's hold them. Let's hold them. So now when history, later on, we can say, yeah, we've been there, done that. Y'all ain't budged, so fuck y'all. And we don't care about none of y'all, none of what y'all talking about. Because we believe on certain shit together. And you guys were not there to support us, so fuck y'all. Y'all are liars, y'all hypocritical. We could do that route. But for some reason, like we're like religious and we're like cripping. We're just blue all together. And a lot of black people, Stu Pease, are not with the homosexual agenda. Let's just be real. Especially the men. Like, we're not with the homosexual agenda. Republicans are not with the homosexual agenda. The average black male don't give a fuck about abortions. Republicans are anti-abortion. Like, so a lot of our talking points, black folks feel like the government is too harsh on American citizens, black folks specifically. Republicans feel the same way. They feel the government got too much control, too much power. So we have so many similarities, but we refuse to reach out and build an alliance with these trailer trash white folks. We have so much in common. But we complain about government, but meanwhile, Biden, which I think is pretty good, he's not bad. Biden is pro-government. You did. He's pro everything government. Blue is pro-government, ladies and gentlemen.
No.
You don't know right now.
Okay.
Blue is
All right.
pro-government.
No. Black people agree with Republicans and a lot of talking points.
Right.
But we agree with them. We disagree with them on several.
Yeah, of course.
And we disagree with them on several fundamental ones. Like one, we are pro universal healthcare. More black people are pro.
Right. I got you. But yeah, that's true.
Right. We are pro free education.
Yep.
Right? There's some.
That's blue.
Right. We understand that some people need welfare. Some people need welfare. Right. Republicans don't believe in that. Right. So
they don't. Right, because of Republic. Right. Got you.
Black people are in the middle. We have some conservative value and we have some democratic values. Right. We believe in free education, free health. We believe in the state must look after old people and poor people. We believe in that. We believe in equal opportunities. Right? We believe in fairness. Right? Most black people believe in fairness.
Yes, we do. Yes, that's 100% correct.
Right? We believe in fairness. Right? We have a kind of honor system. Now, the problem with it is that you're in a society now where Republicans don't necessarily believe in fairness. They believe in capitalism. They believe in entrepreneur. They believe in winning at whatever.
I was gonna say Republicans believe in capitalists to the fullest. They believe in a dog eat dog world. Yeah.
Black people don't believe in dog eat dog.
Nah.
We never have.
Nah.
We never will. Right? But we a middle ground. But poor white people believe in those things. Family not important to poor white people, you know. If they had the money when their mother reached 65, they send her to a nursing home. We only send our parents to a nursing home because we can't do better. If we have the ability, black people parents would die in the house beside them. We believe in the safety net. We believe in family. And that's why when you bring up the original conversation of our youths, why our UTHS getting lost in the sauce. Especially in a situation where we have more resources not any other time. It has to do with some external factor. Why you don't hear any other music with derogatory terms for their people? But our music is every person is a bitch, every guy is a nigga. Every girl is a bitch and every guy is a nigga. Some external force affecting us. It's not only the children. Why is it that the other day I was watching ESPN and I watched ESPN and I watched Fox Sports and I realized something. There are 100,000 sports in the world. You can name cricket, we can name ballroom dancing, we can name horse riding, we can name gymnastics, we can name the field events. But only thing that come on ESPN and Fox Sports is some Negroes running up and down either a basketball court or a football court.
Yeah.
Even basketball is not in season, it's football. You're not exposing the black child to nothing else except this Negro running up and down the field. They said this is what you must aspire to. Although you're only 5'6", 110 pounds. You'll never make the NBA at 5'6", 110 pounds. But it don't affect white children the same way. Because a white child don't see LeBron as himself. LeBron back. There's a massive distinction between LeBron and a white child. He's black. They might love and play, but fundamentally he's not them hero. Who's them hero? Bill Gates and the Facebook guy. Because look like them.
Yeah, Zuckerberg.
And Zuckerberg. So you find a lot of them turn techies now and nerd. Because those are the heroes.
And look, Stupies, you could continue, but I want to advise you guys. You guys should really look up Bill Gates and Zuckerberg's like beginnings, the origins. Because people come on here and they mention names a lot, but they know nothing about them. Unbiased Sports actually was interested to know their beginnings, their origins, like how they become who they were. And I was impressed. especially Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg got a great story. I love his story. But go ahead, Stuart Peace. Hey, real quick, Stu Peace. Rasta Man said Republicans might believe in a lot of the same things you do, but they don't believe in it for you. Hey, Rasta Man, we don't give a fuck. Okay, the LGBTQIA plus, they don't give a fuck about black people. But guess what? They use us to for numbers to push a cause. So look, Russians, Chinese people do business with America, right? But they don't give a fuck about Americans. It's about their greater good. That's it. So when it comes to black folks, we don't care about white trailer trash Republicans, right? How they going to end up in the future. We don't care. As long as they add to our numbers and as long as they support our causes and we get those causes, addressed, public attention, that's all we give a fuck about, right? We don't care nothing about the alliances that we build. We are like everybody else in the world. We are about black folks only, and we'll use whoever we got to use to push our agenda and get tangibles. We don't care nothing about what happens to Chinese, Indians, or whoever else. That's their problem.
From Vitas, can you find out what's happening to Shirley Johnson? She's not at her time, man.
Who?
Why she's gone?
You said who?
No, but you call us. You call us and you call her.
Who you talking about, Stu Pease? Who you talking about? Stu Pease must, I don't know. He might be having a second conversation.
Sorry. I was on the phone. All
right,
the phone.
But hold on.
Okay.
But hold on. But as you're on the phone, let me just read Big B Money. A big segment of black folks can't afford to buy into the Republican fiscal agenda. They're getting government benefits, Section 8, food stamps. This is not just poor. Yeah, but that's what Stu Pease is talking about. So there are certain talking points. So what Stu Pease was reciting was that there are certain talking points that the Democrats spew that only benefits black folks, not these poor trailer trash white folks.
No, but that's also a line of, that more white people are wealthier than black people.
Right. Nah, that's true. But that's because there's more white folks in America.
Yeah, right. That's yes.
But it's still true though. But it's still true. No matter, regardless of what, it's still true. It's still true.
White people benefit more in terms of
welfare and affirmative action. White folks don't want it to go away because they're reaping the benefits of it 100%. More than black folks.
Okay,
So B Money said they try to sell black people the Republican social agenda, but not the Republican fiscal agenda. And B Money, this is why I'm saying black folks need to be more political aware. Right? We gotta stop being stupids. That's the bottom line. Like, you don't represent black folks, neither do I. Nobody in this chat nobody in the chat represent black folks. Black folks are 40 to 50 million deep in this country, and we're stupid when it comes to politics. And I'm not even saying I'm educated. You dig? I'm learning stuff every time I read. So I can't even say I'm educated, but so I'm part of the problem. And it's not our fault. Stu Pease. It's not your fault, it's not my fault, it's not black people's fault. But what we can do, Stu Pease, today, forget about yesterday. What we can do today is bring about awareness about how we need to get involved in politics, right? That's all we can do. We got little memory, right? Fuck what happened yesterday. We're saying right now, get involved into politics. Know what's going on. Learn about how government is formed. I'm biased sports myself. Keep showing you, right, how government is formed. Stu Pease went into some European history that's important. Stop acting like European history is not important. You'll be a fool to think that, and you'll be behind, okay? If you want to be well-rounded, sound, and official and legitimate, you want to know about history, not black or white. History, okay? History affects everybody.
A friend of mine in Jamaica, a good friend of mine in Jamaica, he says this, that it's not everybody deserves the opportunity to vote. So voting is a very important thing. And when you see some people who don't understand how important it is, giving them the opportunity to vote is a waste of time because they don't even understand what it is to vote.
Yeah, I agree.
They don't even understand. So listen, this thing is not something we must take for granted. People die for this.
Right.
Right? People have died for this.
And people got, yeah, right. They died for a sacrifice of life, and people got murdered for it.
And yeah, people got murdered for it. And you giving some people that opportunity. They don't deserve it. They don't even understand. They don't even know who the congressman is. Listen. A lot of people wouldn't have a pastor to pray over them if they didn't have a grandmother to go and beg the pastor to pray for them when they die.
Right.
I'm not saying Christianity is important to know, but there are certain persons in your community that is in their best interest to know. Right? That is in your interest as a person to know. Because group dynamics. When you go in front of the judge, and the judge is saying he wants character witnesses. In our community, how much people have 5 character witnesses? How much people have people who can vouch for them? Who have good standing and good character in the community? To say, yes, I am unbiased, I'm a teacher, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a businessman, I know this young man, and this is not in keeping with his character. This is a mistake. This is not him. I can vouch for it. How much black people you know can do that? How much of these dudes in gangs can do that? That's why when they go in front of the judge don't want to hear anything from them. Nobody not vouching for them. But what you're saying earlier, it's a comprehensive problem, unbiased. It's not no one easy solution. Because even if you send that young man to boot camp, I had a friend who had a son who went into the army and they had to kick him out. He was an idiot. Her son was an idiot. Her son would be in there playing with the AR-14s or whichever variant the army used, pointing it at his fellow cadets, just acting like the fool in Full Metal Jacket. So you sending somebody to boot camp or the army who don't have no skills. They're going to abuse him. They're going to beat him up. Because if you don't have normal survival traits that is necessary. You understand what I'm saying? Boot camp can be the solution. Because if you put a fool in a palace and put a fool in a poorhouse and put a fool in an office, there's one thing you have in common with all 3 of those pictures. You have a fool. So you're sending a child to boot camp who's not ready, who's not mentally equipped to deal with it. You're just going to have an idiot going to boot camp. That's not the solution.
No, okay, wait, it's 2 pieces. Hold on, I'm gonna push back right now. Okay, so if your kid is rebellious, he's not listening. So now let's be clear here. Not listening. She's purposely running away. Okay, at that point, you gotta make a decision because that person is running away and not listening, but they're listening to the streets. They're listening to gang culture. So as a parent, you gotta decide. Oh, my kid in gang culture? That's where they showing interest in, right? Gang culture or service?
All right. I'm going to ask you a question. And this is a harsh question.
Yeah.
Can everybody be saved?
Everybody what?
Can everybody be saved?
I didn't hear you.
Can everybody be saved? Can everybody be saved?
I can't hear you.
All right.
I hear you say can everybody, but the last part I don't hear what you're saying.
Be saved.
Be saved. No. Okay, no. Go ahead.
right? Now you sending a child who have no sense into a confined, restricted area. You're just passing on the buck to somebody else.
What's
Some
what's
do the
the,
same.
what's the alternative? Like when this kid is 13, 14 years old and they're not listening, that means they're hanging with the wrong crowd in the streets, right? What's the alternative than the military? I want to hear this one.
If you have a 13 or 14-year-old in your
Right,
if you have a 13 or 14-year-old in your house,
right.
at that age of 13, I'm not talking 16, 17.
I'm
If
saying
a child is 13, 14, is already becoming disrespectful to you as an authority figure,
yeah.
to the parents as an authority figure. Is already expressing disrespect. You probably need to come out to your place. There's nothing you can do to help that child.
You could send him to the military to save his life.
Hold on.
What else would I mean? Like I'm not understanding. Like what I want to know. You got a 13-year-old disrespectful kid, right? Boy, he's hanging with criminals or gang affiliates. You gotta make a decision at that point. Like he's favoring the gangs over your household. So I want to wait till he come back for this one. Because y'all know I'm ready to play some shit, right? Screw talking. I'm gonna play 13-year-olds killing mass murderers. You dig? So I might even get a strike for this shit, but I want to be real. Okay. So
My problem with it is that, right?
yeah,
If a 13-year-old stop listening,
yeah,
you as a father, you as a man, have a 13-year-old,
yep.
and he's in your house. She's there?
Now we hear you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right. We got. I'm down to hear this black algae right here. Because when your 13-year-old is rebellious and he ain't trying to hear what mom's saying, dad's saying anymore.
If you have a 13-year-old
right
in a two-parent environment.
Yes. Yeah, wait, no, don't limit it because 2 parents, that's like not the case. That's some fairy tale shit, right? So let's be real.
All right. If you have a 13-year-old in a one-parent environment, I would understand him to do that. I understand in a one-parent environment. But if you have a 13-year-old in a two-parent environment.
No, wait. Let's not do 2-parent because that's unrealistic, right? We got Chef, we got Stoopies, we got Sosa, we got the Watcher, we got all these people. We can all be honest and say what household we were raised in, right? I'm 44, straight single, not nuclear. All right, okay, so Stoopies, the average black person, at least my age and a little bit younger, we can safely say was raised in a single parent household. The father, we're not raising nuclear households, Stoopies.
It's about 50%. It's about, back when you was born, it was 50%. No.
Hell no.
No, it is 35% of black children are raised in double household. 70% are raised in single. 30%.
Okay. Wait, Soupy, start right there. I'm going to ask the chat. Okay. So we got, I'm going to do a poll. So hold on. God, I can't even type. God damn. Okay, so chat, be honest. Answer the question. So the poll I put in the chat, it says, were you raised in a single or nuclear family? Okay. So we got 11 people watching right now, and it fluctuates from 11 to 15 to 15 to 10 to 10 to 18. So I want everybody to, I answer honestly. This ain't got nothing to do with stupid right, unbiased right. By you being right, they don't put no money in my pocket. Okay, so I don't care. You can buy me, by the way. You can buy me, put some money in my pocket.
Okay.
But
according to the data,
so hey Rasta man, yo, fill it, hey, Rasta man.
Let me say this.
Fill it out, Rasta man.
According to the data, in the 1970s,
Right.
70% of Black people were married in the 1970s. In the 2020, it's
wait. Post that link. Post that link. I need to read that shit. I don't believe that at all.
I'm on the phone. I'm on the phone.
Yeah,
I'm at work. I'm on the phone.
I don't believe that at all. I'm gonna call Cat. I'm gonna call Fairy Tale on that one.
That in the 70s, 70% of Black people were married?
No. You said 70s or I thought you said 90s.
No, 70.
Okay,
70%
because
of Black people in the 1970s were married.
1966, I believe 67% Black people were married.
67, and I say 70. You're cutting.
No. I don't know, stupid. I'm not debating that, my boy.
Yeah. Right.
I'm not debating that. But
therefore, in the 60s,
hold on, stupid. We gotta slow it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Like what Javo said, slow it down.
Yeah.
Stupid. Although you're right mathematically, it will be considered 70%. But because we're in a conscious, stupid, keep in mind, we're not talking to regular Black people. We're talking to conscious community clowns, right? And I ain't talking about people in the chat. I'm saying the community totally. The community we're involved with, they're clowns. Okay, they're clowns. Like what y'all said, a circus, they're clowns. So we're talking to an audience of clowns. Okay? I ain't gonna say no names because I'm always neutral, but I will say a few names. Ali Muhammad, clown. Okay. Rizza Islam, clown. Okay. So I will say two names, clowns. I'm not gonna say no other names because I'm peaceful with my people. I don't want to beef. But Ali Muhammad is a clown, and so is Rizza Islam. They're two clowns. And I'm gonna add Umar Johnson in the clown shit right there. And Polite. Umar Johnson and Polite is in the clown section. Okay. Right? So we can keep in mind, you're talking to that community. You're not talking to the Black populace. It's stupid. If you're talking to the Black populace, we would have 1,500 people viewing. We're talking to a small, irrelevant community, which is called the Black community. So that's why we're low in numbers, right? So we're trying to expand out to get the masses. That's why I say I'm not part of no conscious nothing.
Okay, all right. This is what I'm saying. In the 1960s, early 70s, let's say 60% of Black children were in nuclear household, mother, father, because more than 60% of Black women were married to Black men. Right? So those children had two family households. As we came along, the crack epidemic, and after the crack epidemic, it is now down to about 30%. So 30% of children come from Black household, come from the marriage household. I'm not denying that. Right? Part of the problem is that those children, it is less likely for children in two family households to have issues. You have the exception.
I agree.
It is less likely. It is more likely in a single unit household for those children to have problems.
I agree.
Right? The result is that we now face with those children who were born after the 80s.
Yeah.
Children who were born in the 80s. And if a child was born in 1986, in the height of the crack epidemic, that person is now 36 years old. So that person lost their parents to the crack epidemic. At 36, that person is now a parent. Right? The mom and pops were married, but they likely that they're not married. Their children are going to have issues because that person who is now 36, who was born in 1986, who has now a child anywhere between 20 and 14, That 36-year-old can have a 20-year-old child who was born at that time. That 20-year-old child can also be a parent too. In our community, we have 36 and 35-year-old grandmothers. We have 32-year-old grandmothers in our community. Would you disagree with that? Would you disagree with that?
No, I agree.
Yeah, we have 32-year-old grandmothers in our community.
Which, in my opinion, is a problem.
That is the problem. What is the expectation? Those children are going to be lost. If you have a 36-year-old grandmother, if a 32-year-old grandmother, if when you are 14, your grandmother is 50 years old, there's a problem in that household. If when you are 14, your grandmother is 50 years old, there's a problem in that household.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It is hard to save anybody in that household. You and grandma are still going to the same party.
Yeah, now that's a problem.
Right? Grandma at 50 might still look good. You might go down to the strip club and see grandma on the pool. Because black don't crack. Right? Because black don't crack. You might see grandma on the pool. So sending those children to boot camp is no. What we need is a comprehensive approach. What we need is that in black communities, you need to offer better programs, better psychological programs that these children can get somebody who's a professional to speak to them, counseling. We need counseling in our community. We need mandatory counseling for our children. To say, listen, this is not the sum of your world. The world is bigger than this. Not sending them away. The army offering them counseling. The army not offering them counseling. Hold on, I have a call coming. Soon be back.
All right, so let me talk while Stu Pease. All right, so I'm not going to speak on Stu Pease' point because I want him to finish his point. I'm just going to read the chat. All right, so yeah. So Pure Black says, I'm biased. I don't even remember my parents being together, but my dad packed me and my mom, brother up and moved from the Bay to Indiana when I was 1. Isonic, he said, peace, bro. Thurman says, need to be a safe and progressive environment for a successful 2-parent home. Exactly. Decent says, damn, yeah, Pure Black, that don't count like mine don't. Just because you got 2 parents is irrelevant. I agree, Thurman. So we're talking about, when we talk about a nuclear setting, we're talking about the parents are in agreement of how the household is actually to be ran. Whether it's a matriarch or patriarch, it has to be an agreement. It can't be chaotic. Because the chaotic shit really goes back into the statistic of single parent, right? So we want to just talk about functional, not dysfunctional, functional single parent. I'm sorry, I lied. Functional nuclear family homes. We're talking about that. We ain't talking about mom and dad together. Dad only there. He always drunk. We ain't talking about that shit. Mom there. She's on crack. We ain't talking about that. We're talking about 2 working parents who agree and get along. That's a nuclear family, not this ghetto hood rat shit. Let's stop chasing. Because I know niggas want to make up excuses why they can't get right. And guess what? We're never gonna get right with excuses. We gotta get right with truths. Truth. That's it. Not excuses. So if the mom a crackhead, dad a fucking wino, that does not count as a nuclear family. Or they don't get along, but they're doing it for the kid, that does not count for nuclear family. We're talking about nuclear family where it's agreed on how the household is to be ran. Split, father, mother, don't care. It has to be an agreement on how the household is ran. That's called order. We're talking about nigga shit, all right? Let's leave nigga shit to nigga shit. We're talking about human shit right now, okay? So let's stay focused. Let's stay focused. So they both don't gotta work. Now that wouldn't count. It's Sonic. If the parents not getting along, that's not nuclear family, my boy. That's wrong. Okay, so let's read. Just because you got two parents, right? I got it. In fact, I'll read by single dad. Yeah, again. So Miss Tiffany, Amber, it's not an attack on single moms. I'm saying single parent, period. I don't give a fuck if it's a dad or mom. The shit ain't gonna work. Okay. My home was nuclear bomb. Descent says death, drugs, and poverty. Descent. That takes education, unbiased. Hey, the watcher says, well, I gotta change my vote. Pure Black says unbiased. That's only in a perfect world. That's very rare in any community. Nah, Pure Black, explain that, my boy. Well, it's Pure Black. You're missing what I'm saying. You might have caught it by now because it's a delay. So I'm gonna give you credit on that. Pure Black. What I'm saying is when a man and a woman comes together, they're a couple, they have a kid, they agreed on how the system will work in their house. They're not freestyling. It's pre-planned. You dig? Or it's planned upon the kid, coming to birth, right? But it's no argument on the roles. There's no argument. Either the dad has power, patriarch, the mom has power, matriarch, or it's evenly split. But it's agreed on between the two civilized parents. Therefore, they don't have problems raising a kid. It's already agreed on, the order. In nigga communities, that's not the case. A lot of our births are lust, one night stands, you dig? Or nigga lying to her like he want to be with her, and, lying to her, gas in the rut, as you would say, in my time. Or the woman lying to him, seen him as a lick, saying, front like she's the wifey material, but whole time she's in for the money. So we're not talking about that ghetto hood rat nigga shit. We're talking about where parents are respectable in their own communities, and if shit goes south with the family, so does their reputation, right? We ain't talking about niggas. Niggas don't got reputations. Niggas don't got reputations, okay? Everybody else got reputations but niggas. Niggas don't got reputations. Niggas just fucked up. If we had reputations, we wouldn't be quick to split up families. We wouldn't be quick to do certain shit we do, okay? Because we'll think about the overall outlook that you're gonna have when that decision is finally made. A divorce, depending upon who you are, can hurt you, male or woman, right? No matter what the reason was. If she cheated, he cheated, doesn't matter. A divorce can hurt who you are as a male or woman in your community, your society, right? We're talking about that. Okay, so I finally said I got you, so he got it. Decent missing the point. I hope you know it now. The watcher says open disrespect, public eye rolls, constant undermining authority. Yeah, that's not gonna work. That's not a nuclear family. That's a dysfunctional family. Roster man said I agree. It's a lot less nowadays, unbiased, but back then it was comparable to white communities. No problem. How about back in the day? That's where Stu P's going. And Stu P's 40 years late. I'm talking about 2022. Give me stats on 2022. Fuck about 1970, 60, 80. I'm pretty sure he was going somewhere with it. But for me, let's talk about 2022. Let's talk about parenting now. Okay, because that's all that, to me, that's all that really matters. What's going on right now. Okay. So as we do that, I'm going to play Michelle Alec because Stu Peas is out. And y'all know me, I'm with True Story, where dead air is no good. Okay. So I'm going to play Michelle Alexander, the new Jim Crow. No. I'm going to go reparations. So reparations is a topic. Reparations with Dr. Raymond Winbush. Okay, hold on. And again, these videos are from my channel. They're not from another channel. They're from my channel. I uploaded 8 years ago. Unbiased Sports, before Conscious Community was always conscious. Okay, so it's got nothing to do with Sonetta or anybody else. This is before I linked up with anybody. Okay, so let's go. Reparations. Let's go. This is Dr. Ray Winbush. I actually met his siblings, his kinfolk. They're from my city or my state. Okay, so I'm gonna share my link. Again, this is my video on my channel, Unbiased Sports. Okay. So I have a new channel. It's called, if you see right here, the P. Let me see if I click it for you. Because it's called Peace of Lovers NJ Reviews. Cause I see
Raymond Winbush is the author.
Because I see that, and I got his book also. I got Dr. Raymond Winbush's book on reparations also. This is before a whole FBA, ADOS, all that shit even was thought of. I already had these books on reparations. Okay. So anyway, I want to do a piece of review channel. Cause I see that like that's, big. And most of the piece of review channels are in my area, the tri-states, New York. Cause New York, North of Pisa, not New Jersey. But a lot of New Yorkers are moving to New Jersey. So if you want a good pizza, I'm like, why not? I be the guy who give you pizza reviews on what pizza spots to not go to, would go to. So this is my channel right here. It's called Pizza Lovers NJ Reviews. You dig? But anyway,
Raymond Winbush is
let's
the author.
go into the reparations with Dr. Raymond Winbush.
Raymond Winbush is the author of this book, Should America Pay? Slavery and the Raging Debate on Reparations. Good morning.
By the way, I have that book. Okay, now if you look at the date, does it show it? It don't show the date. But this is 8 years ago. If you go to my channel, Unbiased Sports, this channel right here, which says 12.3K subscribers, just type in Unbiased Sports. You see 12.3K subscribers, you're on that. Should America pay? Okay, so here we go.
Welcome to the Washington Journal program.
Morning, Steve.
Should we pay?
Yes. Reparations are as American as apple pie, and there's a history of reparations to several groups in this country. The most recent, which we all know about, it was in 1988 under President Ronald Reagan, where this country paid $1.2 billion to the incarceration of Japanese Americans during World War II. So it's a consistent thread throughout American history and by international law as well.
Let me put one figure on the table. This is on page 313 of the book. In a series of conversations you did with people supporting and opposing the idea for education reparations, a budget of $128 billion.
Actually, those figures are small. We've got Richard America of Georgetown University, an economist, has said that the entire wealth in terms of unpaid labor by African Americans in this country is somewhere between $5 to $10 trillion. Another study that was done in Africa just a few years ago computed the entire cost of enslavement, extraction from Africa, minerals, everything, the entire colonialism, enslavement at $777 trillion. So we're not talking about small numbers here at all.
Shelby Steele, who's included in the book that you edited, says, quote, today, 70% of all black children are born out of wedlock. 68% of all violent crime is committed by blacks, most often against other blacks. 60% of black fourth graders cannot read at grade level, and so on. When you fight for a reparational uplift, you have to fit yourself into a victim-focused protest identity that is once angry and needy. You have to locate real transformative power in white society and then manipulate white guilt by seducing it with neediness and threatening it with anger. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what Steele and opponents of reparations do is oftentimes fail to connect historical dots, how things that were lead to things that are. And I think with regards to the impact, we want to feel as a country that somehow enslavement has no contemporary impact on African Americans. In fact, it does. And so when we talk about crime rates, when we talk about out of wedlock births and so forth.
So let me just say, once this video is over, the live is over. So, okay, I might not end the live right away, but the live is over once the video ends, because I'm going to come back on with my Moors sovereign citizenship, you dig, or my interrogation, either one. Okay, so this is the last video on this live, unless 2Ps come on and can take the show. But I won't, at the end of this video, I'm not talking I'm on mute, I'm good. Okay, I'm ready for the next topic. So after this video, unless 2Ps start taking over and talking, as far as I'm concerned, the live is over. I might not end the live, so keep that in mind, chat. Just because I'm not commenting doesn't mean the live's not over. It's over once the video's over. Okay, I'm going to be interested in another topic. I might do the interrogation. I might do some more sovereign citizen, more pullover traffic stops. But this is the last. I'm not going to talk again. This is the last live. Okay, this is the last live, the last video for this live. Unless 2Ps talk, but I'm good. I'm silent. Okay, so keep in mind, once the video's over, y'all might as well just end this shit. All right.
We don't connect those dots. The other thing I think is that many conservatives have co-opted the use of the term victim. You can be a victim of a tornado and rebuild. Rosa Parks was a victim in Montgomery in the 1950s, but she did something about it. So I think that the idea of victimhood is something that we need to reconsider, and we try to do that in the book.
If you support the idea for reparations for descendants of American slaves, 202-585-3880. And if you support the idea of reparations for those African Americans, 202-585-3881. Our email address is journal@cspan.org. The numbers will stay on the bottom of the screen. John Van Dyke is asking the question, who should provide reparations for the descendants of American slaves?
Right, it's an excellent question, and those who would provide it are those who live in the country right now. One of the biggest oppositions I've heard about reparations as a scholar is that people will say, well, my grandparents didn't own slaves, I had nothing to do with slavery, or I came over here, my parents came over here at Ellis Island a few 50, 60 years ago. The fact of the matter is that I had nothing to do with the incarceration of Japanese Americans, as I said earlier, but I had to pay part of my 1988 tax dollars for what this country had done to them. The country owed the Japanese Americans an apology, and they gave the apology along with compensatory measures.
Again, those who oppose the idea of reparations should call the number 202-585-3881. How do you track, though, who would qualify for these benefits?
It's not as hard as people think. One of the things that Congressman John Conyers has called for is a study, and he's been calling for this study since 1989. Preceding any reparations payment are national studies and sometimes international studies about who should be compensated and so forth. So Congressman Conyers' bill, H.R. 40, is something that groups like NCOBRA, myself and others are lobbying for so that a study can be done. But given modern technology, it simply is not as difficult as people might think who should get reparations payments.
Who contributed to this book?
Several people. We had over 20 authors, Deidria Farmer-Pellman, Yaa Asantewaa Nzinga, a variety of teachers, educators, scholars, lawyers, and so forth.
Brandywine, Maryland, good morning for Ray Winbush.
Morning. I wanted to make a couple of quick points. I think the idea of, I called on the support line, and I support the idea of some sort of recognition of the continuum of oppression and what the gentleman said earlier about what was affecting what is. But most importantly, I think the country needs to recognize that this is still a country where being white is an advantage. It always has been. That advantage is unearned. It has nothing to do with merit, hard work, or anything else. It has nothing to do with qualifications, which is always an issue where discussions of affirmative action take place. And that something has to be done about that.
Thank you. Thank you, caller. And let me read you this email from a viewer in Alabama, Michael Miller, who says, isn't affirmative reparation actions enough for these American Africans? We've lowered qualification standards so they get preferences in college. Possessing darker colored skin gets them hired despite inferior aptitude. What else could they ask for?
Well, you know, it's like I heard a person the other day said that, you know, the United States recognizes it should do something, affirmative action being one of those things. It's ironic that two of the most vocal opponents against affirmative action during this past week, Clarence Thomas on his birthday last week opposed affirmative action, and George Bush, who was a legacy admit at Yale University when he went to school many, many years ago. Affirmative action has been cast as a racial issue, and in fact it's an issue simply saying extend the net further. And so there's a little bit of disingenuous about people who say that haven't these people gotten enough, because again I think Americans in general, and white Americans in particular, simply don't understand the history and their own connections both directly and indirectly to enslavement.
Good morning to Waterloo, Indiana.
Good morning. If by reparation you mean money payout, I'm very much opposed, because this will just aggravate the whole divide. However, I do think equal treatment for equal talents is a different story. And before you come up with any kind of conclusion, I think we're all going to have to get busy and do a bunch of family histories to confirm whether we were or were not. I have some ancestors who came from Europe. I have other ancestors who lived in the South who didn't own slaves and moved away because of it. I have other ancestors from New England. So we all have to be able to substantiate, other than just holding out our hand and saying, me too. This might become very fashionable to be able to claim a black ancestor. It means you're going to get some money. So I think the whole situation needs to be analyzed very thoroughly.
Well, I agree with you, and I think that's why Congressman Conyers' H.R. 40 bill is so important in terms of doing a study on enslavement. But again, I think that one of the things you said, it may not be true, is that, you know, we have no responsibility connected to enslavement. Again, I repeat the example. I have indigenous people in this country, Cherokees, Choctaws, and others have gotten reparations, and in the form that they have gotten, both in group and individual, I, as an American taxpayer, had to pay for that.
Next call is Cleveland, Ohio. Good morning.
Oh, good morning. I want to thank Mr. Wimbush for his research and his determination in keeping this issue at the fore. I think the word Christian has been co-opted. The Christian Coalition, these people call themselves Christian, but they want to pick and choose the rights and the wrongs and use them for themselves to justify what they want. As far even as this war on terrorism, we have been, as African Americans, plagued by the Klan for 200 years. And then we went to Jim Crow and separate and unequal, and people don't know the history of the country. Oklahoma, back in the 1920s, the government, the whites in power, bombed the black areas as a show of white supremacy.
Well, I think what you said, especially your last point about Tulsa, Oklahoma, is very important. Even now as we speak, there are two major lawsuits taking place about reparations. One is being litigated by Charles Ogletree of Harvard University for the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre that occurred in 1921. And the other one is taking place in federal court in Chicago, where Deidre Farmer Pellman, Conrad Will, and the National Black United Front are suing some 30-something odd corporations for their complicity in enslavement of African Americans.
Our guest is a native of Cleveland. He currently lives in Baltimore. Ray Wimbush earned his doctorate and master's from the University of Chicago. He is currently a teacher at Morgan State University. This email from Bedford, Texas says, I'm a Caucasian who favors reparations for the descendants of slaves. The U.S. government does have a duty to pay reparations if for no other reason than they played a part in the slave industry via the constitutional provision, Property Clause, which was a concession to the South to end the Civil War, which allowed slave owners to keep their slaves. And one point that this viewer brings up is the slave diet, which was notoriously poor and affected generations in terms of certain illnesses.
Absolutely, and one of the things that we include in the book, Steve, is a discussion about the health consequences of enslavement. We know for a fact that American gynecology was founded on the experimentation towards African women and who were enslaved in this country, and those operations were performed without sterilization or anything else of that kind. I think that what we do in America, Michael Eric Dyson, the educator, says that when it comes to slavery, we may well be called the United States of amnesia. We don't want to remember slavery. We want to remember the Alamo. We want to remember the Maine and other things like that, but we don't want to remember slavery. We want to talk about it. And I think reparations will also be a healing for this country in terms of getting blacks and whites talking more logically and truthfully about enslavement in this country.
Lawton, Oklahoma.
Yes, if we're ever going to achieve true racial equality in America, we're going to have to eliminate all of these laws that favor or discriminate against anybody because of their race. Now, the black race is favored at the present time by a number of laws, as is the Indians, and we need to eliminate all these laws that favor or discriminate because of race. Now, as far as slavery goes, it was a terrible institution, but most of the blacks who live in America today indirectly benefited from slavery by being brought to America and not left in Africa, where many of them would have starved to death, as many of them are still doing.
Well, this is not as amazing as some of your listeners might believe, that people actually have said to me, well, isn't it good that we were enslaved since we were brought from a continent that was undergoing poverty? And again, it shows the lack of understanding of African history and African American history. The fact of the matter is that civilizations such as Timbuktu, Songhai, and Ghana were flourishing beyond that of Europe during the Middle Ages, and that people want to forget about that and somehow jump to the incredible conclusion somehow slavery was good for African Americans. Again, I think that this is mostly based on an ignorance of American history as well as African history, which we all need to deal with.
Where is your family from?
My mother is from Kentucky. She was great-granddaughter of a slave owner in Kentucky. My father was relatives are from Pennsylvania with roots in Virginia.
This email from a viewer who said, I'd be for reparations if the Supreme Court did not just say it's legal to discriminate against white people.
Well, it's amazing those who are opposing, quote, discrimination against white people somehow have gotten religion about the racial past of this country. The fact of the matter is that, as Clayton and Bird have said in their book, American Health Dilemma, only about 11% of the time that African Americans have spent in this country have been, quote, free. The vast majority of this country's history has been based on overt discrimination and violence towards black folk. I mean, that's just a historical fact. And I think that now what we're trying to, believe is that somehow, as one of the callers said earlier, that there's a meritocracy here, that people get what they want because of hard work. In fact, that simply is not true. Discrimination still reigns in this country relative to African Americans, and it's something that's part of the very culture of this country.
HarperCollins is the publisher of the book Should America Pay? Our guest is Ray Winbush, who is the editor of this 325-page book, and we'll get a call from New York City. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Winbush.
Good morning.
I would like to say thank you, first of all, for your very articulate discussion. And I would like to say as well, as an African American, I lived in Switzerland for 10 years, and I found it very interesting how Europeans in particular were more educated about the issues of the Africans in America and the issues within America as far as slavery are concerned, and where African people actually come from with reference to the Americas and the different parts of the world.
Why do you think that is, caller?
I believe it's because it's like he said, America wants to have a collective amnesia, and we have not been properly educated in this country about slavery, about how Africans arrived in America, and what actually transpired after that. We pretended that we just came from slavery, our history books, as far as we were taught in Texas, where I grew up, there was probably 2 paragraphs about it, and that was the end of history as far as black Americans knew. We were never articulate about it. We were never informed. We had no defense. So we're at the mercy of people like the gentleman who called 2 calls ago and said that he feels that blacks got a better deal coming from Africa and being drowned on ships and treated in the most dehumanizing manner.
We'll
but we can obsess about the Israel question and what happened to the Jews with the German Holocaust.
No, I agree with the caller 100%. I think that, again, I was a member of a delegation that went to the World Conference Against Racism a couple of years ago in South Africa, and groups like December 12th out of New York and other groups, it was amazing to see Europeans talking about African history and African American history better than most Americans could and did. And I think that it's perhaps educational systems. We want to talk about the dumbing of America, but I'm really, as an educator, appalled at the lack of knowledge that we have about our own country, and particularly the history of African people in this country.
Along those lines, this is an email from Robert who says, Mr. Winbush, I am an African-American man and have been doing my family history. What I found in the archives of this country confirmed that my ancestors were slaves in North Carolina. I think that doing family research is a great way to find out who should receive reparations. Still, some people find it hard to let us find our ancestors by denying us access to records.
I couldn't agree with the caller more. One of the things that has just thrilled me as I've gone across this country with the book is to see African Americans who have collected incredible data, put it together, synthesize it, and can present an articulate story about their cases. There's many people who have written me, we have, and others, and that research is what's going to get reparations for African Americans in this country, and I believe that it's going to happen within 5 to 10 years as well.
Our guest has his own website, which is linked through cspan.org. It's RaymondWinbush.com. Next is a call from Romeo, Michigan. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Am I coming through all right?
Yes.
Okay. I think that this thing could have many threads. Let me mention a few of them. I think there was a gentleman sitting where you are who wrote a book on C-SPAN. I think it was prior to the 2000 election. He's sitting right where you are. Didn't he write a book? He would mention the remunerations and Conyers. Do you remember the gentleman?
We have talked about this in the past.
It may have been Randall Robinson.
Anyway, I think that prior to the 2000 election, this has 1,000 threads. You know, as a World War II veteran, why couldn't men who were killed and injured sue the Jews for money for saving them in World War II? Or we could go back and do our history and find many instances. But a monetary remuneration, I wouldn't be in favor of. But if you could specify excellent education for black youth, I'm all for it.
If I understand the question, I think, again, that we need to really understand how reparations are a part of international law and a part of the law in this country with regards to certain groups. In fact, after you do the research and do the study, you will actually probably ask the question, why haven't Africans in America actually gotten reparations? Because so many other groups have. And not only, again, in this country, but around the world. One of the callers mentioned after World War II, the Nuremberg trials looked at, and many people that were Jewish and part of the Holocaust received reparations. There are lawsuits currently being prosecuted in South Africa for the evils of apartheid. And this is going to happen in this country right now. It's really a global movement that is very well articulated and very well legislated, as well as very well litigated.
Let me go back to your earlier point about those Japanese Americans who were interred in California and elsewhere during the height of World War II. It's been almost 140 years since the end of the Civil War. How do you administer something like this? How do you determine who gets what? Where does the process begin?
Well, it's the exact same way that we have broken treaties in this country with indigenous groups, the Choctaws, the Sioux, Cherokees, that go back even before the end of slavery. Some of these broken treaties go back as much as 200 years. But the administration is what has occurred with those groups, and the same thing can occur with Africans in America.
But specifically then, how do you determine who gets what?
Well, that's again, I keep referring to Congressman Conyers' bill, and that's why it's so important. He has said that we should set up a commission that would be funded by not that much money, about $8 or $9 million, that would study the impact of enslavement, as well as who gets the money, as well as the theory about whether or not it should go to groups of people, individuals, or both. And I really believe that it's going to go for like funds as well as individuals. It depends on the study, and it's almost premature to ask the question unless we have funded a study like that. And this is one of the things we try to do in this book, is try to advance the discussion on who gets the money.
I'm not sure if you can put this in terms of numbers, but how many slaves did we bring into this country?
Oh my God, the late historian John Henry Clark says we must begin the count at 30 million. One of my former professors, John Hope Franklin, said it's at least 40 million people. I estimate, in terms of extraction out of Africa, somewhere between 40 and 50. At the time of the emancipation, there were approximately 3.5 million Africans in this country at that time, and that was 200 years. So the estimates are very, very difficult. The best guesstimate is somewhere between, in this country alone, somewhere between 10 and 15 million people.
And how many African Americans today in the U.S., approximately?
Probably 85% of Africans in America today had ancestors who were enslaved.
Stover, Missouri, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
My question to Mr. Winbush, do you and your group plan to go after the other slave trading countries, namely the Brits, the Dutch,
yes,
the Spaniards, the Portuguese, those countries that was really involved in the slave trade and helped bring the slaves to this country?
Absolutely. In fact, there was a meeting just about a month and a half ago in Amsterdam, and there are lawsuits that are pending now that are going to be prosecuted in the next 2 years against England, France, Portugal, Germany for Southwest Africa, known as Namibia. So these suits are all over the world, literally, at this point. So to answer your question is absolutely.
Boston, good morning.
Good morning. I have a question for the Mr. Winbush. Everything you're saying, I agree with you. I'm not racist or anything, but white folks seem to forget that we black folks paved the way in this country. We practically built this country up from the cotton fields to the railways. And I know you probably visited Boston before. Boston has a history of African Americans, migrating from the South.
Yeah.
But my thing is that I know a little bit of history of Lincoln when he, was the one that helped free the slaves. But I'm kind of nervous, but my thing is that where is our 40 acres and a mule Lincoln promised us?
Well, it's interesting. Very quick response to that is that between January of 1865 and April of 1865, which was the assassination of Abraham Lincoln, some 400,000 acres of land were actually distributed to some 40,000 freedmen. Of course, with the assassination of Abraham Lincoln, his successor, Andrew Johnson, took all of that land that had been distributed by Sherman and others and gave it back to the plantation owners that actually owned the slaves that they were supposed to be giving the land to. So again, I think part of this is us really trying to read and understand history. And I think that most people would be very surprised at the linkages that even now exist with regards to the enrichment of insurance companies. One of the things I've learned is how Africans in this country, almost every major railroad in this country, and they are being sued right now in Chicago federal court, were built by Africans, literally what they call convict labor as well as slave labor for little or nothing. It was not all Africans worked on plantations, but plantation owners actually lent their slaves to railroad companies so that they could be built.
2 emails. There is no raging debate on reparations in this country. It will never happen. This country has no responsibility to hand out money to black people. What you should be doing is working on cutting the rate of black children born out of wedlock, cutting down on crime of black people, seeing that black children have a father and a mother in a home, and seeing that every black child gets a good education. That from a viewer in Arizona, and also this from Laura Marriott, who says, please ask Mr. Winbush if he really believes handing money to some blacks will end the out-of-wedlock births, STD high rates, sexually transmitted diseases, especially for HIV/AIDS, which blacks account for 50% of all cases, and other black-on-black crimes.
Well, you know, I'm really struck by the fact when people write letters like that and say things like that. What's amazing is how we could go to Northern Ireland right now and talk about Catholics and how they are just irresponsible people. Or if it would be like going to Kosovo right now, or for that matter, something even more relevant, Iraq right now, said these people are just lazy, they don't know how to run their country, they have out-of-wedlock births, and look at their economy, it's all in shatters. Not understanding history. And I'm not a historian, but I know for a fact that anybody who reads a good book on black history in this country will understand why the conditions in the African American community are the way they are now. But most people simply have not done that. I, as an African American, have had to read about George Washington throwing dollars across the Delaware River, or how Lincoln freed the slaves supposedly. But I was not required to know who Marcus Garvey was. I was not required to learn who Martin Delany was. And most white Americans don't have to read anything about African and American history, and I think that's something that does them a disservice.
Last call from Garberville, California. Good morning.
Yes, sir, Mr. Wimbush. I guess I would support reparations, except for the idea that two points. The gentleman earlier mentioned other slave trading nations, most of them European, but the truth is there was also Africans involved with the slave trade, and there was Africans that had slaves themselves. It wasn't only white people. And another point that's a really major one is, what about, it wasn't like you said, supposedly Lincoln that freed the thousands of them, including my ancestors who died, who didn't own slaves at all.
Yeah, the best answer I could give to that, and it's the truth, is of course there were Africans who owned slaves. There were indigenous people who scouted for Custer at Little Bighorn. I recently saw the film The Pianist, in which Jews, as we know, helped place people in the Warsaw Ghetto, and we know that there were some Japanese Americans who helped process their own fellow countrymen during their incarceration during World War II. But certainly we wouldn't blame Jews for the Holocaust, we wouldn't blame the slaughter of Indians on Sioux, and we certainly wouldn't blame Japanese for their incarceration. So why should we blame Africans for their own enslavement? The fact of the matter is that European chattel slavery was going to happen with or without the cooperation of a tiny minority of Africans on the continent. And so I think this is a straw man when we raise arguments such as that.
What happens next?
What happens next is that there's going to be a series of lawsuits that are going to be taking place at the government as well as the corporate level. I hope to see Congressman Conyers' bill, H.R. 40, pass, and I think that you're going to continue to see the movement grow even bigger than it is right today.
Dr. Winbush is the editor of this publication, Should America Pay? Slavery and the Raging Debate on Reparations, a series of articles on the issue published by HarperCollins. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Steve.